Hello, adventurers. Welcome back to another bonus episode here on Crit and Fumble. As you probably know from the previous Tales from the Table, this is a bit of a behind-the-scenes episode where we get to ask the Dungeon Master from one of our previous campaign or adventures how they did it, how it went, what we fucked up, and other miscellaneous questions. So anyway, we have Russ back at the microphone. He ran Dreyor Valley at Death's Door last week. Russ, how are we doing this time? You got a bunch of questions for us, or are we just gonna like? Are we gonna roast you and be like?
Yeah, you're roasting me.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, you're roasting me.
Awesome.
It makes sense. It was your first time, like official on microphone, anyways. So
As a DM,
As a DM
or a
or-
GM as you prefer.
well, you know, we didn't go into a dungeon, and whatever.
Life is a dungeon.
Yeah,
Okay, life is a dungeon.
I'd like to say for the
Dungeons are
upcoming
stupid.
campaign, it is Dungeon Mistress or nothing.
Oh,
Dungeon
okay,
Mistress.
wow. And by upcoming campaign, you mean the one that
The one
they're
we're-
listening to it already?
Well,
Wait, no. This
Uh,
when
that's
this
over
runs
on the
out-
other channel because this
Oh,
is on
yeah.
One Shot's channel.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
on
yeah.
campaign channel.
Oh, wow.
New campaign starting. Go check
Legacy,
it out.
you don't really have to listen to Legacy channel. It's kind of bad.
it's
It's
a
pretty
little
old.
cringy.
I was
Yep.
like 5 years old now, I think.
It's when Dwayne was still in his prime.
Oh.
I'm
Yeah.
still in my prime.
Who's Dwayne?
Oh my
Oh.
God, you kidding me?
Dwayne's
I think
here.
Dwayne looks fantastic.
I'm like
He looks
53. I'm ready to go do a couple of rounds.
At least 8.
Rounds or something. I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
Anyways, what did we play last time? Dreyer's Valley.
Dreyer's
Valley.
Valley.
Yeah,
In the
that's right.
Dreyor Valley. Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, in Galdor.
Yeah.
That nice little town that I created that Tash kept calling the city.
I was a character.
I
And then you
I
called it
did
a
it.
city too.
I did
Yeah,
it again.
that's true.
I did it
The
again.
curse of Tash.
When I posted the other day, and then I deleted it and fixed it
Oh, thank you.
because you were gonna get mad.
Yeah, I spent all that time drawing it, and I was like, "This is definitely a town." I even went into the Dungeon Master Guide mid. Sure, how many people had to live there?
What is
wow.
the population?
For it to be, yeah, exactly, for it to be a town.
So
or a
would you
city.
say that you're finding yourself to be a technical oriented DM or a story oriented
good
DM?
question.
That is a good
Roots?
question. I'm definitely more, I think, story orientated. I mean, Chelsea's played with me outside of
Wow.
recording the podcast.
Nice.
Whoa, now.
Whoa.
That bridal thing was just.
I have a question.
Oh wait.
Put your hand down.
We're supposed to tell everybody about spoiler alerts.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Spoiler
spoiler
alert.
alerts.
Spoiler
Obviously,
alerts.
it's kind of,
Spoiler alerts.
You'd be kind of like, yeah,
Stupid.
Just
Spoiler
listen to the
alerts.
episode first,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, turn
and
this off
girls.
and go to the episode
and-
right now.
Yeah.
If you,
Difference.
if you
Someone
get to the
should.
bridal, you've gone too far.
Or not far enough.
T-shirt. That should be a T-shirt.
That is actually a great idea for a t-shirt. Wow. Only in Helvetica, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I think, like, I'm not... Yeah, I don't think I'm technical. I really like telling the story, and I'm really trying to weave this whole bigger world in the background, and I don't care if it's still just one-shots. Like, if we don't do a campaign with it, at least I've got this sandbox that we can sort of play in, and we will remember the characters, we'll remember the areas, hopefully, and there will be some cool reoccurring stuff.
I think it's pretty obvious from the get-go that you have a natural aptitude for story and understand it. And you've said you've listened to 100 hours of Critical Role,
Yeah.
etc. And
But you know what's weird with my art, which I've been like, for listeners that don't know, I've been doing art for like 30 years professionally, and I don't ever create any stories for art. Even the game that
like
me
in your
and-
head when you're
No,
doing a
the game
100-hour
that me and
painting?
Gavin are working on, I was very much like, when we had a meeting, I was very much like, I'm not very good at stories or anything like that.
Just
So
tell
you-
me what to draw.
Yeah, just tell me what to draw. And then apparently when I start playing D&D, that totally changed. So
That's interesting because when I look at one of your paintings, that's like the first thing I want to start doing is figuring out who's this guy and why this guy,
Right.
and I'm like, why are they all looking up at him and what's he trying to do? And
I 100% like made a story up for myself about the one that you posted that you'd finished most recently. I
Right.
was like, there is a story there, and I'm not even going to ask him because that's what my story for it is.
we actually talked about making a little one-shot based around those characters that are in that painting. That might be really fun. I don't know if Dwayne saw that picture or not, but I'll show him later.
the one that you just finished painting in your
Yeah, the big one.
Trump.
Yeah. So we could do that.
That's a good idea, actually. I like that.
Because it's fun characters, and you just have to like kind of shoehorn
Yeah.
some D&D rules into the characters, right?
Yeah.
We're good at that.
Yeah, shoehorn it.
Yeah, except for the one that we didn't, that nobody's ever going to listen to.
Oh, yeah, I
The
deleted
animals
that.
one. That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
that was a little
Right.
Yeah, fun fact, it's
Yeah.
hard
That was
to
a
be an
little weird.
animal with no opposable thumbs,
Yeah.
I
tend to
realized
be a bird.
even
Thumbs
if we'd had
matter.
one person who had opposable thumbs, because then we could be like, go do that thing.
Yeah,
But
true.
No, if one person would be a monkey.
I think my question for you is, one of them is, how do you think it went after the fact? Because coming in, I mean, you had prepped a bunch of off-mic campaigns, like, like most people play D&D just around a table with friends. You had done a few leading up to it to sort of like prep yourself.
Right.
And then you did the, I don't want to say the real one, but like, the recorded
No, it's
one,
the
which,
real-
which,
I'll
which
call it the real
feels
one.
like a little more, high stress. And you could tell that you were, there was a bit of anxiety. You were excited too, and I thought you did a great job. But after all said and done, like, how do you think it went?
I think it went well. I think that some things I need to figure out is like encounter stuff. There was definitely moments where I was like, again, spoiler alert, turn this off. Margaret was just playing whack-a-mole and destroyed every single thing that I brought her way.
It was kind of awesome, though.
Yeah, it was great.
But it also kind of took away from what you guys could do too. So if there was more, like, I think sort of like heavy hitty enemies in there, it kind of might have slowed things a bit down for you.
I made a mistake with that.
Oh.
What?
So I realized
Confession time.
afterwards. I
Put that
realized
bridle on.
Gavin almost spat his
Oh, his
water.
nose.
Spit
That's
take.
good.
It was amazing.
$3,000 MacBook.
So good.
I had misread, so I thought that
You've been
after
a bad Goliath.
the naughtiest Goliath, I had misread and I didn't realize that as a bonus action, she could, if she brought someone to 0 hit points, she could make a third attack. I thought
Oh.
it was every single time I brought someone to 0 hit points. So I think at one point I brought like 3 people to 0 hit points by just doing this like continuous.
Just kept going.
I
yeah.
should have been able to max at 3.
Oh.
So I apologize for that, and I have.
Oh, that's okay.
And
Redo.
I know that for the upcoming one of you guys is playing a Goliath, and I will be policing that.
Yeah, I think, and I think that's what I learned was just like maybe
That Chelsea cheats.
That I
Yeah,
cheat.
I learned
cheater?
mainly that Chelsea is a kinky cheater.
I am. Yep.
Yeah, we found Chelsea's kink on that episode for sure.
And Gavin's, I would like to say.
Yeah, that's true, and Gavin's too.
Gavin was pretty red.
Someone's getting a bridle for Christmas. Someone's getting a card.
Yeah.
I think we were both sweating.
Yeah. Sweating again.
And I think and that was actually kind of a funny moment because we love doing a little bit of comedy here. I'd say we're definitely a lighthearted group.
Yep.
And I just went with it. I was like, I'm just gonna really ham this up for you guys because I just felt the energy. I felt like you guys were like getting embarrassed a little bit, and I was like, just lean in.
It was a
Yeah.
nat 20.
It was,
I was
a
very
nat
chill
20.
about
right? It
it.
was
I
a
don't
nat
think I was
20.
embarrassed at all.
Yeah, well, you felt an emotion.
I felt something.
That's actually one thing I really enjoyed about the episode is I found that you really leaned into your characters and the story and your ideas. And a lot of people, including myself, like I will feel awkward getting a little like carried away into character, and like I wish I didn't, but like it's something I got to work on. But man, even what is his name? Not Marcus.
Watkins.
Watkins. Like
Yeah.
Watkins was great, but I don't know if I could maintain that like his stutter, right? Like I would crack up every time, but you like nailed it the entire time you were talking.
I got to practice him one time in a campaign that me and Chelsea played together. That's better.
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 Not with me.
Yeah. And so I did get to practice him one time, but I'm like, I got to pat myself on the back a little bit because I'm so insanely new at this.
Yeah.
Like we've only been hanging out for 2 months pretty much.
Yeah.
And so I am going for it. And I think that's kind of how I am when I do anything. I just kind of get in there, go for it, fuck around till you find out,
Yeah.
So from your like original mind movie of what this world is to
Sure.
having, we've played it at that home campaign
Yeah.
a few nights.
Yeah, because Tasha's been there too.
Played it here now. What's your take on, is there any like big shifts? Is there anything that didn't work the way you thought it would? Or, well, I guess you don't want to give away too much because we might play there more, but...
Yeah, I think there's nothing that didn't work so far. In fact, if anything, it's been nice to play it and be able to like sort of like role play and ad lib a little bit with you guys because I actually came up with some stuff that can work in the story.
Right.
So that's really nice to be able to like be in there and be like, yeah, I kind of feel like this would go this way, and then somebody does something, I'm like, oh, actually, this is a cool way for this to go now, And I have been trying to tie everything back in, like with the bees and all that sort of stuff, but I didn't know how that was going to go for you guys. You could have been like, fucking, we destroy all the bees we see, or I don't know. You could have said anything, right? Like,
Right.
because you just kind of passively were like, oh, cool, there's bees, right? So again, I don't want to give too much away, but I have definitely fleshed out enough of this stuff now that it's like everything's tying together, and we could actually make a campaign out of it for sure.
Sweet.
Very cool.
I remember when I was first getting into DMing, all of our friends got together. It was actually in Dwayne's basement, 2018. It's like
Nice.
5 or 6 years ago. And same as you, I had no idea what I was doing. And the amount of prep I did per session was insane. I felt like I spent half my life prepping. I'm curious, like, for you, what was your prep like as far as hours, intensity?
Right.
You know, also, how do you prep? Like, I get that asked a lot. You know, they're like, oh, you're DM. Like, what do you do for your prep?
So, I mean, I did a lot because I think we were talking about in some of the posts on social media. I drew one map that took 11 hours because I refused to use AI. Again, I will never give you guys a hard time for using it. If you guys want to be losers, it's totally fine.
I'm a really good loser.
But I definitely like to put a lot of work into the art because that's totally my bread and butter. That's what I'm good at. That's what I'm confident in.
Yeah, fair.
Once I started like actually drawing out maps in my head, even just like little sketches and stuff like that, then I really started being able to flesh stuff out that way. I can't write. Like I pretty much I spent 2 years doing upgrades to pass school. Like I was in remedial. Like so, I'm surprised that I can even write anything. Like when I left school, I was still using building blocks to do math. Like pretty like low. And now I'm like a CEO of a corporation.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of interesting. But the writing actually surprised me a little bit because again, I'm not using any AI for that. It's spell check, I guess, if you want to consider that AI. But now my daughter's saying she's going to help me out with some stuff, which I think is so adorable.
Amazing.
That's
cool.
great.
That's super
But yeah, so I've just been trying to like, when I write, I just write out a few sentences and then I kind of like do little bullet points, write out another few sentences, and then I'm just like, okay, how can I flesh that out? How would this character? So it's nothing like major, but I think as I'm talking about doing this campaign, I might have to start like really, really thinking about
Planning
it.
out more like arcs and stuff.
Yeah. Or like what could happen. Because again, you guys could be like, oh, we don't do that thing that you wanted us to do. And then I've got to be able to like really think on my feet.
What's your comfort level, would you say, around the improv aspect of it?
It's getting better every time. And I'm liking it more every time because like I think, you know, having that rigid story was great. But it also creates a moment of panic because if you go off that story, then you're like,
oh God.
Shit. Okay. So I think creating a sandbox that like, you know, kind of what the people would be like in that town, that city, that area. I think just knowing like how people would react. One thing I'm going to do, I saw somebody say this really cool point. They were like, have a list of names for NPCs and just in case somebody's like, I want to go over there and talk to that person. You're like, oh shit, what's that person's name?
I totally do that.
You know what I mean?
I have that on my DM shield where I have about 20 names and like potential like last names or whatever. And then once I use them, I do like a little scratch through so I don't use it again.
Right.
And then when I need more, I'll just print another one. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so I think like little things like that. It's just, I think I'm going to learn more the more and more I do it. But I'm actually excited to play the campaign because I haven't even played that much.
Right. Yeah.
So like I'm going to learn more by playing too and like remembering how all the mechanics work and things. And that is a two-way street, right?
Right. Yeah, you've only played one shot so far, right? You haven't.
Yeah, I've not played any campaigns. I mean, we did like, I guess the one shots, the original ones that we played, they ended up being a two-shot.
Right.
Yes.
Not exactly a campaign though.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know how long we run these for, but I do have one more important question before we wrap. In the tavern, and where all the sausages,
tavern or
The saucy bar.
The saucy bar. A lot of sausages got thrown around that night, and I had a really hard time picturing in my head specifically what kind of sausage. Are we talking like wieners, breakfast sausages, like the big like honky one?
Yeah,
I picture like bratwurst.
Oh, like a big bratwurst.
Yeah.
All right,
Big
all
greasy
right.
brat, and that was totally ad-libbed. I had nothing wrote for that.
Really?
And I think one of you guys was saying something that was kind of annoying me, so I was like, "Yeah, he throws a sausage at your head."
Was that me?
I think it was actually maybe Gavin. It was Cecil.
Yeah, you were asking.
Cecil
Yeah,
had-
it was Cecil because he was kind of an annoying prick.
Yeah, he was.
Well, and
Right?
you had been coached like going in, like talk down to them and everything.
right.
Like
Yes,
that.
that's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they like being talked down to.
Yeah, that's right. The rest of the guys are coached.
Not emotionally. I think it was
Yeah.
more of like a physical.
And then I kind of like, because of the one once the one sausage got thrown, I was like, well, this is what they do.
Yeah.
This is what they do. And then they started throwing sausages at the male stripper who was pretending to be a wizard. And I think as you guys left, a sausage hit the door behind you. And there was the donkeys, which...
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to mention about the donkeys was the big muscular donkeys.
I totally clocked it. They were supposed to be Harleys, right?
Yeah, they're supposed to be Harley Davidsons, and because they made like gruffer bray noises and stuff. So they were supposed to be like these gnomes were like
saddlebags
bikers
on the
essentially.
side.
Yeah.
It was a biker bar.
Awesome.
I don't remember if I was saying this to Tash or I was saying it to my partner, but like sometimes I get it's so interesting like listening back because I'll be like, oh my god, I totally missed that joke, or I totally missed someone saying something
Right.
else. sometimes terrifyingly enough, I'm like, I don't even remember saying that.
Blacked out.
But I was so busy like in this like communication with the bartender that I didn't clock that the dancer was like, no, stop, guys. And I was like, that would have like if Margaret had heard that, would have been like, let's go. Like, okay, we're
Right.
fighting all the bartender. We're
So
fighting
now
all the
we're
people.
killing all the gnomes.
Now we've
And-
got it, and we would have had this 9-foot tall like Goliath.
Who couldn't
going
move.
on.
I mean, I would have had you
Playing
at
whack-a-mole.
disadvantage because you
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to move
well,
very
exactly.
easily.
So I was just
But
picturing
her
like,
reach with that friggin' 7
She
foot
would,
long
she would,
warhammer.
yeah, she'd have to like
she'd have
stab
been,
forward.
she'd have been sweeping.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's
Baseball
one thing I was actually worried about because I had the monster manual with me.
Yeah.
I would have just made them all goblins essentially because I was like, shit, I didn't even think that you guys would maybe try to fight them.
Totally. Well, and that was the thing is like Margaret, like in the moment would have been like, "Meh." Actually, because I'd said like, oh, she'll hold the bar for that, like the pole for them when the pole's not working and stuff, like very
Right,
helpful
right.
and
Well-
stuff. And she'd have been like, hey guys, like he said no, and start just throwing hammers.
And did you guys catch on that the one gnome was setting you up? Like, was it too obvious?
I
It
didn't.
felt,
You did?
It was a little
didn't.
uncertain. I felt
Well-
like some unease, but my character didn't because didn't we
Right.
fail to
Sorry,
roll?
so did your characters feel?
No, they didn't. My character
Yeah.
failed the roll.
Yeah.
Margaret
Right.
had been suspicious enough to be like, she doesn't trust this, but then she rolled really low on her insight, I
I
think.
think I did too.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
I was
right,
just
right.
like, yeah, looks good. Looks.
Yeah. Okay.
Like that guy.
Yeah.
What a nice friend.
What a nice, helpful person.
Well, I had a great time, and I just wanted to say again, like, thank you guys so much for bringing me into your fold. Through Gavin, thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
And it's honestly been amazing. And on a totally soppy note, I think you've helped heal part of my inner child that was bullied for trying to play Dungeons and Dragons when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, that's what we're
Sweet.
here to do.
Yay.
That's right.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
Neckbeards
Healing's
for
a good
all.
thing.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
and honestly, I've said that I've actually felt a little bit
Yeah.
healed and a little bit more confident in like, look what I'm doing. I'm like, I'm not a voice actor. I'm not a, you know, like, I don't
disagree.
normally do stuff
Pretty
like
good
this.
Voice actor.
Yeah.
Yep, there was a bit of a chat on the Discord. Someone that's come there, I don't know, doesn't matter what their name is, but
Engineer gal,
yeah. Just that she's doing
shout out Engineer gal. She's been great.
Yeah, she's doing a bit of
assuming.
a like study
A
on
thesis.
a thesis on the like mental health benefits of TTRPG.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I
That's
think
cool.
that's super cool.
And
What's,
she's
what's TT part?
Tabletop, it's your titties, your titty RPG.
TTs.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
TTs.
Table titties are role playing.
And I wanted to say to Russ, thank you for letting me create a character so annoying that when you brought her back briefly as a PC at our home one, 2 different people at the table, one of them being Tash, went, no.
Just because of
Mission-
her voice.
Mission accomplished.
Oh, it was beautiful. And I'd made this huge deal all day long, like, oh, thank goodness Margaret's done, huh? And then you were like, around the corner comes. Beautiful. So
Yeah,
thank you.
it was a great way to introduce you, and I'm sorry that people don't get to listen to those. Maybe we'll try to just roughly record the last one.
We could reenact them if you want.
Totally.
Nope, can't remember all that shit.
No.
Well, thanks so much again, guys, and I'm hoping everybody really enjoyed it, and more to come.
Do it again
Awesome.
sometime.
Yeah, it was fun. Good time. Thanks everybody for checking it out, and check out our new campaign. What is it called again, Chelsea?
Pirates of the Lost Fleet.
Pirates of the Lost Fleet on the main Crit and Fumble Spotify channel.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool. Bye.
Sessions.
Bye.
Hi, guys.
Dun, 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 dun,
Thanks for listening and stuff.